Hey folks, and welcome back to Shaggy's Car Shop. On tonight's episode, we're going to be setting up my throwout bearing or my clutch release bearing. So yeah, join me for how I'm going to measure this and set up my particular bearing on the front of my T56. I'll be right back with you. Alright everyone, so I decided to go with a Tilton Throwout Bearing. Reading the reviews online, it seemed like the best one that I could find. So it is a 60-6105 if anyone's wondering. It's for a flat face, which my clutch has. And then it's meant to go onto a T56 Magnum. So what it comes with is a couple of little bolts to set up your where your bearing is, your thread plate that goes onto the front of your input shaft, and then your bearing itself. Let's see what else we got in here. A little bleeder petcock and some instructions. Alright, so I have read the instructions on here. First thing we're going to do, I'll bring you guys around and we're going to measure my distance over here off the back of my bell housing to the clutch fingers themselves. So let me bring you around and show you what I'm going to do there. Alright, hopefully you guys can see this fairly decently. So these are the ends of your clutch fingers. And then this right here is your bell housing face, or your flange where your transmission mounts up to. So what you're going to want to do is take a dial caliper. Let's see, it helps if I turn it on, and get into thousandths of an inch. Make sure you go to, or your dial caliper at least goes to thousandths, if not 10 thousandths. You won't need 10 thousandths, but. And then all you're going to do is find a nice straight edge. All you're going to do is find a nice straight edge across here, which I'm going to do mine probably like that. Alright? You take your caliper, you measure from this straight edge. I'll try and get it here. I'll flip this around. Hopefully you guys can see this. But you get right till you touch one of these clutch fingers. Now I'm at 2.2085. Alright, so let me write that down. 2.2085. I'm going to get another couple of measurements to make sure they're all close to the same. Alright. Kind of a pain in the butt with only one hand. Trying to hit right on the edge of that finger. That one I'm at 2.251. 2.251. Alright, let's try this again. Now I know all of these clutch fingers aren't all in the they're off just a touch. 2.25. 3. So it looks like, just off of averages, our depth is 2.252, I guess. Now, some of you might be wondering about the thickness of the ruler. So with that, when we set up our bearing, we're going to lay that right on here so you don't have to subtract your thickness of your ruler. Okay, and I'll explain that once I get the transmission out. All right, let me get that out, get everything set up on that, and then we'll go from there. So the first thing you're going to want to do, make sure you don't have any debris, any of that on there. And then you take this little sleeve that fits over here, and that fits right on the front of your transmission, just like that. Now, had to do a little bit of testing and things like that. I found these are 10.8 on their braking strength. They're an M6 bolt, okay, and they are 1 inch long. That's the ones I could find that would fit in here. I would have liked to find some zinc plated ones, but I couldn't at my local stores. And then you're just going to line up. So there's 4 holes around. You're just going to make sure there's only 2 bolt holes. Make sure they line up. Add a little bit of Loctite to them, because these, hopefully you will never have to have them go anywhere. And thread them in. And then the best thing I could figure for torque specs on these, I couldn't find anything on an actual torque spec. So I just went to the bolt size. And looked, and I think it's like 10 foot-pounds. So that's what I'm going to torque them to. Ooh, that one's stubborn. Still went in. All right. Got my little torque wrench set up here. We're just gonna snug them up and then torque them down. All right. All right. Next, you have your actual throwout bearing. Now with this, all you're gonna do is thread it on for now, and then I gotta find my my straight edge so we can get our measurement correct. I also got to check the instructions. I think it gives me my my torque on my little, let's see here. So once you get this aligned however you want it, mine is going to probably kick over here like so. Something along those lines. But however you have it, you can take one of these little fancy bolts they sent you and thread that in, and all that does is just keeps this square where it is. Let me get this threaded on a little further, and we will go find my straight edge, and I'll check my torque specs on these little bolts, and then we'll go from there. Actually, I guess read the instructions All right, I'll be right back with you. All right, folks. So, have this threaded on here. And then you take your straight edge, and right here, if you lay it flat across there, and then bring your dial caliper just over on it, just on the outside, just like I did before. I'm at 2.47. We're at 2.53, so I guess if I did that, okay, move that there, 2.51, right there. Now, that's the exact measurement, where if I put this in, it would be riding on those clutch fingers the whole time. The instructions say to subtract 0.125, or let's see, what is that? 0.125. What is that? I don't know, like a 16th, eighth of an inch, whatever it is. 0.125. My brain isn't working on math right now. Anyway, so I have to twist that back in until I get that measurement, and then I'm going to align it like that, plus or minus. So the reason I want that is this top cord, or this top tube, is going to be my bleeder, because the air always rises, so when I bleed this cylinder here, the air will come up and bubble out rather than stay in here. You don't want to set the bottom one as your bleeder. And then for those of you that may be wondering, did I bend my ruler like this? I also measured it over there on my clutch fingers with my straight edge like this, so there's no possible way I can bend it, and I'll check it both ways. So let me get this spun in and measured out, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I got it set. I'm gonna double check it after I get my little alignment pin in. I'm gonna use the shorter one. Now this one uses a, oh, where is it? Don't even tell me the size. Where are you? 1/8 inch little Allen. So again, I'm gonna red Loctite that, because hopefully these don't ever have to come out. This should be somewhat self-adjusting from what I've read, but it says to use red Loctite, so we're just gonna do that. Get that threaded in. And what was the torque on that? 16 foot-pounds. All right, bump it up just a smidge. Swap over to this. Ooh. All right. Well, I was twisting that little Allen off. Apparently it's a cheap tool. No, it's Stanley. Should be. But that's in there. And then I'm going to recheck. Drop that back down to 10. Recheck my torque on these, because I had to take one out to get this to spin. Again, that's locked in place. So this top line here will be my bleeder line. And again, like I said, that's solely for when you bleed this cylinder here. The air comes up and then goes out. So let me measure this again and grab a couple of wrenches so we can get that bleeder on. I'll bring you over here for that. So then we know which side is the bleeder side. And yeah, that'll be it for setting up one of these Tilton Throwout bearings. I think it's a pretty good product. I mean, fairly easy to set up. You got to source some bolts, I guess, but it ain't too bad. One suggestion on these, if you can find this M6, if anyone's got any direct questions on it, I have it written down somewhere. I didn't bring it with me. I think it's up on my computer or in my phone. But what the thread pitch is on these are metric, again 10.8. But if you do get one of these, after seeing this, I suggest getting a flat Allen to go in here rather than an actual 10 millimeter bolt head, just so you can get it back in further if you need to. Otherwise, you got to do like I did and have to pull one out just so you can spin it a little bit and put it back in. But either which way, it works. So let me remeasure this and then I'll bring you back for once I'm putting the bleeder on. So like I said, you want your supply line, your bottom line, your bleed line, your top line. Top line comes out and actually angles down, which is good. If you ever get any of these little caps, suggestion, save them. Never know what you're going to need them for. Alright, then a lovely little bleeder. I forget this was a metric size to tighten it up. But this is I think it is a 4 or AN4. So just thread that on there. Get that up. This bottom one, 11/16. I'm sure it's actually metric, but 11/16 fits beautifully. And then the actual one on the line is a 14 millimeter. Get that snugged up good. Good to go. Alright folks, that's it for setting this up. Yeah, let me bring you right back and we'll close out this one for tonight. Oh, actually, let me I got all them bolts on the bottom of that bell housing and my plates I made. Let me show you that first. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but that's my little block off plate for this Buick Pontiac Olds Cadillac bell housing, and got all my bolts down along the bottom with nylocks on them so they shouldn't back out from vibrations. Hopefully there isn't too many vibrations. And then on this one I just put a little bead of silicone around it because that should hopefully never have to come off. Alright, let's bring you around the other side. Alright, I don't know how well y'all can see it, but this is just kind of a little L1. It just sits inside of this starter housing, barely. I didn't use any silicone or anything on this one. It's just tightened down real well. And made that because there was a gap right down here and right here. And I didn't want any extra crap getting up into the flywheel or anything like that. Alright, just want to show you guys those. Let me bring you right back. Alright folks, that's it for tonight's video. Finished getting the throwout bearing set up. Let's see. I guess next is the heavy lifting part. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that being one person and my back hurting, but you know, it is what it is. I think I might use one of my creepers and maybe slide it up over here. Figure something out. Get it up on here. But yeah, that'll be the next video. Mounting the transmission on here. Hopefully everything goes good there. And then, yeah, don't know, we'll have to move this off to the side and figure out something else to do. I know I do have some, again, this transmission is dirtier than heck from mocking it up. Engine, same thing, sitting around in a garage. I got to do some cleaning up on them. Maybe finding some random things for here, like temperature sender and things of that sort. But yeah, hopefully I'll hear something. Well, I'm gonna hit the guy up next week. I think, yeah, it's New Year's Eve, I guess. So 2 days before the New Year. Hit him up next week, see what the status is. Haven't heard from him since before Christmas, so probably not much, being we went on vacation. He might have went on vacation. We'll see. But yeah, otherwise, I may have found some ideas. If it's going to be a while, I may have found some ideas what I want to do with the Volkswagen. I might have changed my mind on an engine swap. I saw something that might be pretty interesting. But other than that, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.